Climate finance is at the heart of our move and our fight towards a just transition. Young people who are among those who are mostly at risk and are being impacted by climate change daily. And assessing funds needed to tackle this global challenge is a big issue. We've seen the importance and we've seen how hard young people fight, and we've seen concrete results. At COP27, we've seen how young people fought and how they played a huge role in the establishment of the loss and damage funds. It's important for us to continue to engage and to incorporate young voices in this discussion on climate finance. There's so much room and so much work for us to be done, but it's important for us to continue to engage and to work together. There's a need for us to move for systemic shift to climate resilience. Young people continue to advocate on a daily for a shift, a systemic shift from the current growth-based economic models to a climate-resilient world. This shift entails prioritizing collective well-being over individual gains and competitiveness, guided by principles of care, justice, and equity. There's also a need for us to revolutionize the financial architecture. Most nations, developing nations, have to balance their economic growth and also this move for a just transition, and most countries are burdened by the financing their national debts. There's a need for us to include tackling the debt crisis, implementing fair taxation measures to ensure compliance with the principles, and rethinking global trade systems. Reforms are important. Vulnerable countries spend so much, and it is important for us, if indeed we want to leave no one behind, to be able to factor this into account. Addressing climate-induced loss and damage is also key. Incentives such as the Loss and Damage Fund play a vital role in addressing climate-induced loss and damage. Therefore, it is imperative that there's a need to allocate adequate resources to these mechanisms to support vulnerable communities affected by climate change. To quote the Secretary General, promises made on international climate finance must be kept. Finance is at the heart of climate change, and it's important for us to work with young people and for major economies to shoulder their responsibility. 1.8 trillion is needed by 2030 for the world's poorest countries to transition their economies and to adapt to climate change. By embracing a collective vision of sustainable, just, and resilient future, we can forge a path that honors the rights of all generations, preserves our planet's precious ecosystem, and ensure the legacy of stewardship for generations to come. The time for bold action is now. Our response today will shape the world we live for tomorrow. So I want to also use this platform to also call on countries to deliver on their pledges. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil, and thank you for your call to action for reforms so that we can ensure that climate action is less daunting and more doable. I would now ask Olivia if you could share your views.
Thank you.